And yet another announcement of another fresh server. This time it's the very well anticipated Stormforge MISTBLADE 2. The continuation of the famous and popular MISTBLADE 1 that launched almost 2 years ago now. And it's fully progressed. So let's find out what MISTBLADE 2 will bring us. And what happens to MISTBLADE 1, hopefully. This is the first time me reading the announcement. I was waiting with it until I was ready to record this video to have the genuine first impressions. The new beginning, MISTBLADE, our first child. The second season of MISTBLADE will begin on November 25th at 6 p.m. November 25th, so just over a month from now. And will be another chance for players to discover the wonders of Pandaria. We understand the anticipation building up to MISTBLADE Volume 2 release fate of our present Mists of Pandaria realm. It was about time to find out. The final arena phase will end 1 month before the fresh Mists of Pandaria launch, October 25th. Oh, so they only let us know like a week in advance about the end of the arena season? I would expect honestly to know at least a month in advance, but okay. Our team does not plan to close MISTBLADE. It's gonna stay as it is until the second chapter comes to an end. When it happens, we'll merge 2 realms into one, and then its future is going to be decided. So they're just gonna keep a dead realm up for like a year and a half, I suppose. Players will not be able to transfer anything between realms except store mounts. We'll give you an opportunity to use them on MISTBLADE Volume 2 shortly after the realm's release. That's fine, that's a fair play. The same fate as on Twin Stars Apollo realms. When you had fresh Apollo realm, you would still have the old Apollo Cataclysm realm separate at the end of its progression, essentially dead, while the fresh realm will progress through all the phases, and then they will both merge. I don't know why it took them so long to let us know though. I would have liked this kind of announcement several months ago. Your characters on MISTBLADE 1 are basically going to be unplayable because the realm is going to be dead. And who knows what happens then. It may be time to progress to Legion with the merged realm. Legion on Stormforge or Legion on Tauri, if that will be possible to transfer characters over there. We don't know yet how that's going to work. Base rates and details. So 3 times experience rates. 1 time honor rates, 1 time profession rates, and reputation rates. So essentially everything's times 1, Blizz-like, except experience rates, and I think we had the same experience rates on MISTBLADE 1 as well. I think it was also times 3. Which is okay, but it's also fairly slow. We think that our base rates for Mists of Pandaria realm were satisfying enough, and they do not really need to change. Leveling is quite smooth on Mists of Pandaria, especially with tools such as Dungeon Finder and Experience Boost, which will appear after all class and race realm firsts are achieved. This experience boost, I assume that's the experience boost that you buy for donate on the website. It's not going to be accessible to everyone, but you'll have to buy it if you want it. Note that rates values may be modified after realms launch to improve faction balance and during community events. The remaining rates such as professions or reputation will remain at default level. MISTBLADE Volume 2 shall be based on PvP rule set, just like its predecessor, because they say professions and reputations would remain same. So what's left is currencies and experience rates. These may be changed to balance out the factions. And it's a PvP server, meaning that world PvP will exist. World PvP ganking by max levels or higher level players as well. I kind of like that. I would rather have world PvP with some ganking than have no world PvP whatsoever. And you know I'm gonna be there on day 1, so I'll probably not be one of the lower levels getting ganked, but I'll be one of the higher levels protecting the low levels. Timeline. We came to the conclusion that certain phases were a bit too long. which resulted in players getting bored too soon. We have decided not to publish any stiff timeline in order to make it more flexible, just like we did on our TBC realm Netherwing. Specific content will be introduced in accordance with players' progress for both PvE and PvP aspects of the game. This will allow us to respond to your feedback and suggestions more accurately. It is the players who will decide after all. The first raid Mogushan Vault will be open approximately 1 week after the release of Mistblade Volume 2. Dungeons and the first bunch of scenarios should be available from the very beginning. Cross-faction. We do realize that faction balance is an important factor in determining a player's gameplay. Our first Mists of Pandaria realm's population was quite evenly divided for the most part, but the issues showed up when it appeared that the Horde was PvE dominated when the Alliance players preferred PvP. Although faction balance adjustments such as free faction change to the less populated side of the conflict were effective, we were not completely happy with the results. Therefore, in the last phase of Mistblade, we introduced a full cross-faction for PvE content. Currently, players are able to create parties and raids with members of opposite factions and join both Dungeon and Raid Finder all together. Our developers connected these quality of life changes with full cross-faction / world channel, make it even easier to gear your characters. This experience and your feedback convinced us to extend it even more on Mistblade Volume 2. Therefore, you'll be able to create and join groups with members of both main factions, join RDF and LFR, talk on shared / world channel, trade systems via common auction house, join battlegrounds. The entire cross-faction system will be available right after the realm's release. That is nice. I'm definitely a huge proponent of full cross-faction. What we're still missing is cross-faction guilds and cross-faction arena. And there's probably no cross-faction whispers going on too. They only mentioned / world channel to talk between the factions. So these three things I'm still missing. I'd still like to see them. I don't know why we should be restricted on who we can play arenas with. Just let us play the arena. That's one of the biggest issues on private servers. You're not able to play arenas, especially in the mornings or outside of the peak time. PvP adjustments. Resilience and battle fatigue values, modified in accordance to season and players' feedback. Custom weekly PvP quests with black market rewards. Okay. Conquest catch-up system, allowing newcomers to stand a chance against well-geared veterans. Battlegrounds cross-faction, arena spectator, that's something you've been asking us for some time now and we'll answer, thank you. More game masters dedicated to verifying any abuses of the latter. Language barrier, that's probably gonna tackle the immense amount of Spanish speakers in the world chat. Since the beginning of Stormforge, our team has put pressure on our community to strictly follow an English-only rule. Really? From what I've been seeing for the past year on Mistblade 1, there wasn't any strict following of the English-only rule. There was a ton of Spanish in the world chat, I can tell you that. Especially in game channels such as /world. Yeah. English language will be still the primary tongue used on our official channels, including default /world chat, but we'll create 2 new /world ES for Latin speakers and /world CN for the Chinese. So they admit there's a lot of Chinese players, whether you like it or not. I'm expecting a huge population on Mistblade 2, especially since it is so popular among Spanish-speaking people and Chinese. This could actually be worse than not having those people, because you'll probably often have them in your groups where you're not able to talk to each other because you don't speak a common language. And I'm expecting a lot of people coming over from Netherwing, at least for the initial few days, to get their try in Pandaria, maybe for the first time, because they like Stormforge. They've been playing on Netherwing, so might as well give Mistblade 2 a chance. So realistically, I'm expecting well over 3,000 players on launch. I think we had around 4,000, maybe 4,500 players on launch of Mistblade 1. and I think this could be very similar. More people are now familiar with this project, so I think it's gonna be pretty big. But it's probably gonna end up dead after that year and a half when the progression is over, just like Mistblade 1 did. But hey, if you can have fun for a year on an expansion that you like, if Mists of Pandaria is something that you like, then I'd say it's still worth it. Just I wouldn't probably make too many alts on the server, because the future going forward after the progression is over is very uncertain. So overall, I think Mistblade 2 by Stormforge will be our go-to Mists of Pandaria server for the upcoming 1 year. There's probably no real competition that could challenge it on this expansion. I plan on being there on day 1, so I will hopefully live stream the launch experience of Mistblade 2. So if you want to see that, subscribe. Enjoy the community Discord, because I'm notifying people there when I go live. So that's the best chance of catching me live soon. Let me know what you think about Mistblade 2. Are you going to be playing? Have you played on Mistblade 1? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What are you expecting? And don't forget to check the sponsor, MADMONQ. And that's it. Like the video, comment, and I'll see you on Mists of Pandaria. But before then, I will probably see you on Onyxia and other private server releases. See you there.